for the most part, there were job sites that just simply were not allowed to operate or were impacted because of precautions due to COVID-19. And so for those job sites that actually did have to shut down, really the key portion is like, hey, if I've got this beautiful project halfway through construction and no one is sitting there on site to keep things moving and it's just kind of sitting there, I've got this attractive nuisance. We're all curious when we see a construction project, right? That's why they cut those little holes in the fence so that we can all peek in there and see what's going on. A construction project that's closed, that's halfway built is just so intriguing and interesting. And so we have to help our clients navigate not only keeping the project site safe and trying to mitigate any liability exposure that could come as a result of the job site shifting how it's being used. And ultimately, the real big one was from a builder's risk perspective, which is something called the cessation of coverage. And essentially in every builder's risk policy, it sets out and says, hey, yeah, we're going to insure this building while it's under construction. We're going to insure this project while it's under construction from here to here. But if there's a period of time where you're not actually doing anything, we aren't going to insure it. And so a lot of it was getting ahead of that, helping our clients understand what some of those provisions were in their contracts, the insurance contracts, and also marrying that up with what they've contractually agreed to do with the owner, because those are two separate, towers or buckets, so to speak. And of course, there's no standardized cessation period across builders' risk policies, so that can vary by carrier, that can vary by project circumstance. And so there was a lot of initial, hey, how do we help our clients navigate this? And of course, the next step of that is, hey, if we need to make sure that we don't run into these issues, and the majority of our insurers, our insurer partners were aware of this, hey, we're going to have to figure something out. So it was a lot of helping our clients understand, what's the status of the job site? How is it being left? Have we removed materials from the site to mitigate theft? Have we done A, B, and C to, prevent a certain loss from occurring? And so we did a lot as Gallagher across our construction team, both in the U.S. here in Canada, to help provide a number of our clients with a standard set of job site closings, suggestions, recommendations, risk management advice. And now, conversely, as things are opening up, we're now looking at the backside of that and putting that back in. So, hey, we're coming back to a job site after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks shutdown. What do we need to do to make sure that as we start getting construction back up and running, that we aren't going to create a bigger mess for ourselves here? So a lot of it has been thinking, hey, what could derail this project? What could come home to roost? And we relied a lot on our in-house claims expertise and the amount of data that Gallagher keeps in terms of best practices, what clients have done, learning from losses. And we're able to kind of reverse engineer that back out here to be able to provide our clients really a framework and some guidelines to, as we like to say, it's less expensive to learn from someone else's mistakes. So that's kind of been our mentality here. And when you can get clients engaged in that type of conversation, some real wonderful things can happen. And that leads to my point about a lot of our contracting entities and organizations we deal with are going to come out of this a lot stronger, having been through this and maybe have an opportunity to think a little bit differently as to how they execute their projects and really just try and protect themselves and the livelihood of everybody involved.